Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be cooking a paella in the Ninja Foodi 11-in-1 pressure cooker. So I say in quotation marks because although I'm going to obviously be using paella rice, tomatoes, I'm not going to be following this as a traditional recipe or a guide on how to create the best traditional paella. Instead, I'm just going to make paella like in the same ethos as casserole. This is just something that I'm going to do to use up bits and bobs around the house. So I've got chicken, I'm going to get some prawns out of the freezer in a minute, paella rice, some herbs. Obviously saffron is normally a key component of paella, however I don't have any in the spice drawer, and as with so many things, I'm not going to go to the shop and spend £3 or £4 on a small bottle of saffron just so that I can claim to have made an authentic paella. I've got some very basic tomatoes here, a pepper which I'll add later, I've got this, prawns in the freezer which they'll come into play a little bit later on. I'm probably just going to fry them off in some garlic and some butter before they go in. So without further ado, let's get cracking with this. Okay, so I have this on the sear and saute mode to start with, and I'm just gonna add some oil in the bottom and then going to just cut these shallots up. Obviously the point of this is to use what you've got. I think a traditional recipe will call for onions, but whatever, I have shallots and I'm going to use shallots. No one's going to be angry unless you advertise this as a traditional paella and then try and make money out of it on that basis, and that's not what we're doing today. We're not making a traditional paella, we're just using in the style of a paella. Right, this doesn't need to be finely diced, it's going to be cooked so much that it will basically disintegrate by the time it comes to serving, so that's all good. Isn't it funny, that's a shallot as well, but it's a lot whiter than, you know, shallot's normally pink, isn't it? There we go. I will also be using paprika, so I'm going to use some of that and some of this band of paprika alongside some of the old Sainsbury's mixed herbs. This is quite a mild paprika, this one's quite spicy. I find blending the two, probably 4 to 1, works quite well for me. So let's grab a teaspoon. The red and the hot paprika does require us to have a teaspoon to operate it. So in you go. Good dollop of mixed herbs. Also, we're going to get quite a bit of salt in this. So, one thing about pressure cooking you will need to work around is that it takes a lot more seasoning to really get the flavour there. So, this is so important, is lay it on thick. Then really what we want to add to this is the chicken breast and the chopped tomatoes and the chicken stock and the paella rice, obviously. Okay, so with this recipe we're going to be adding our paella rice. We're going to crack it first with the onions and a little bit of garlic, which will just it means that the shell of the rice is just going to contain a bit more flavour, and all of the liquid that then gets absorbed through the shell or the skin, the exterior, is going to be flavoured by that, so it makes it a lot more tasty. We're going to add our tin tomatoes, we're going to pressure cook. Then while that's happening, I'm going to be chopping up some tomatoes and a little bit of garlic and the prawns as well, and we're just going to fry them off in a saucepan on the hob, and we're going to add all that to the paella later. I don't happen to have a lemon close to hand, but that's okay. And then yeah, I think we're good to go on all those things. So yeah, we're just waiting for those onions that I've just put in to simmer all the way down. We've added a bit of salt, we've added 2 different types of paprika because we're posh, and we're going to crack on. Just the most basic prawns, and they have the blue tick on them to say that they have been sourced sustainably. Already getting that aroma. Good. We're just warming these prawns up really. They were cooked when frozen, so we don't want to do too much damage to them. Just get some of that water off them and infuse them with a bit of that garlic. That chicken obviously is nowhere near cooked, but it's coming up and it's sealing nicely with the shallots, bit of garlic, obviously the 2 paprikas and the mixed herbs, so that is good. We're not following a traditional recipe with this. We are using up bits and bobs that we have around, and I've chosen a paella because it's a good all-in-one thing. It's also just a great way to use up stuff that you have lying around the house that's going to go out of date soon, etc, etc. So there it is. One of the important things to remember is that you can just chuck anything in it, and that's what we're going to do right now. Simply because if I don't start using this spinach soon, then we're not going to have to press spinach for much longer. So, as is tradition, we're just going to lob a load of that in. Oh, blimey! I've got chorizo, and no, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it properly because every Spanish person I've met pronounces it differently, and I will just pronounce it the English way. Okay, fresh knife, fresh chopping board, because we obviously cut raw chicken on the previous one. Just gonna keep that back. Always remember to get the paper off the edge of the meat. It's obviously what holds it in shape when it's being produced. Much like a sausage, we'll pump all of this deliciousness through. Right, so we've got our diced chorizo here. Putting that straight in. Yeah, things are starting to get serious now, so the chicken is sealed along the outside edges. I am just going to take these are whole tinned chopped tomatoes. As with anything, it will disintegrate somewhat in the pressure cooker. So we're going to need them. Also have from the freezer a frozen thing of stock. So if you haven't seen it yet, my guide to making chicken stock in a pressure cooker is up in this corner here. So do check that out. Right, we are just going to microwave this so it doesn't shock everything too much and bring the temperature of everything in the pressure cooker down. And yeah, then we'll get adding some liquids. We also need to crack the rice though. So now's as good a time as any to crack the paella rice. Don't know how much I've got here. This would maybe fill a normal drinking glass and a half. There we go. So we've got no added liquid in here. We're just going straight in with the rice and we're cracking it. That is what we're doing. Nice. So just going to leave that a bit with all the flavours. It smells really delicious. And yeah, we'll come back in a minute. Okay, we now have warm ice by the feel of things, but let's just get cracking, because otherwise this is never going to really happen in a meaningful way. Now, I did want to avoid bringing the temperature down, but really it doesn't matter a great deal at the moment. This would be a fantastic opportunity to add some wine along with the stock. Generally, if you're cracking it, you will add a bit of wine, but I don't have any wine, and also there's no need for this to be alcoholic. You can make dishes like risotto and paella without alcohol. And again, it's one of these things, I'm not going to go to the shop and spend, to be honest, I would probably end up spending a tenner on a bottle of wine, because I'm not going to do much with half a bottle of cheap wine. I might as well have a bottle of drinkable wine. And yeah, I'm not going to go out and spend a tenner on this, because so far these are just ingredients that I have around the house. Okay, so that's coming up nicely. Yeah, the chicken stock, that warm through has given it a head start. And remember as well, that is extra watery, if you remember the video. Okay, so we're now gonna stick this onto pressure. So press the stop because we've had it in the sear and saute mode. Make sure that the valve here is ready for pressure and flick it over. I'm gonna put it on for 25 minutes. Pretty sure that's the amount of time that we normally do this for. Or is it 15? I think it might be 15. Well, I'm rubbish at making instructional videos because I can't remember. Let's do it for 15. We need to keep it warm for a little while anyway, but I will not have the keep warm function just because I want to have a look at it in a bit. So let's get that started. Okay, back with our prawns. I turn the heat off. After enough liquid had come off, I'm just gonna put the heat back on and add the red pepper and the cherry tomatoes, which I cut up earlier. And this is just gonna be our addition after the paella's done. We're just gonna add those in. I'm just gonna let them warm through gently. In fact, I'm gonna borrow the lid off another pan. And hopefully pretty soon that will be done and ready to go. Okay, that is just taking a little while to pressurize. Remember, we've got that frozen stock in there. Obviously I tried to help it along its way using the microwave, but that didn't work, did it? So yeah, that's gonna take a little while to obviously become steam and pressurize. Practically speaking, this is done. These larger bits of tomato are just going to exist here. They'll get broken up as I stir it around, and also you may notice it is maybe a little runnier than you would normally have a paella, so no liquid has had the chance to evaporate during the pressure cooking process. And what's going to happen now is, yeah, this is the first chance that the damn thing's got to breathe. So, breathe it shall. And just to help it on its way, I'm going to put it onto the sear and saute mode. And I'm going to not put it at 5 because that would be pretty mental. I'm going to do it on this. The slow cook mode is also good for a nice gentle thing. And obviously you could put it on 5 if you want that burnt bottom, but I have never encountered a situation where that enhances the flavour, so we're not going to go ahead with that. What I will be doing is just checking how the rice is. I'm very happy to report that the rice is good. The flavour of this is strong. So yeah, happy days. What I'm going to do is, yeah, personally I think that that is good enough as it is. So I'm just going to serve this up into a little Tupperware and we can, yeah, send it on its way. So yeah, this is what my girlfriend is going to be having for lunch tomorrow from this very Tupperware. And yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching along. That is how to make a paella in the pressure cooker. As I said before, this is by no means a traditional recipe. This is just a methodology that you can follow, and hopefully I've inspired you to, yeah, just crack on with it. It doesn't matter if you don't have all of the authentic ingredients. Just get going. If you do have all the authentic ingredients, or you're willing to go and get the authentic ingredients, do it. But just have some confidence, use the pressure cooker, and try make your paella that way. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. See you again soon for some more, so long as you subscribe, which you must please do. And yeah, comment, tell me how you're going to use this recipe or what you do differently. And yeah, drop us a like. So thank you and bye for now.